Hey guys, hopefully you are all doing well. Prime Collections here. Well, today we're going to be discussing, in my opinion, what has been the top 10 Funko Pops that have been announced and released this year. Now, what I mean by that is these are not pops that I have in my collection. I may have them in my collection, but they're not specifically going to be ones from my collection. These are going to be the top 10 pops that I looked at throughout this year, and I went, this definitely deserves to be on this list. These are my personal choices, so you don't have to agree with them, but let's not hesitate. Let's not wait any longer. Let's get into our countdown of the top 10 Funko Pops from the year 2022. I understand I could have done a huge list of honorable mentions, but I didn't want to do that because if I did, we'd be looking at about another 10 to 15 pops, and I really, truly didn't want to do that. I just wanted to bring this down to the top 10. So we're basically just going to start with that, and we're just going to work our way down. And officially at number 10, we actually have Raven from the Winter Convention, which is part of the Justice League Hero set. I went between this one and Starfire as to which one I thought I would pick for actually being at the number 10 spot here. And after a long bit of debate, I decided to go with Raven. In general, I like the detail a little bit more on this. I like the look of her cloak. She's got the energy coming off of her hands, the actual hair changing color, and I don't know if it's supposed to match the cloak, but that is still a really cool effect to see her hair change color. And I think that this was an amazing DC pop. I think that they did a great job on this. I think it was definitely worthy of being a convention piece, and it was just awesome. And in general, that's why it sits at the number 10 spot on our list. At the number 9 spot on my list, I have a Target exclusive Frog of Thunder from Marvel here. This one in general, when I saw it, I didn't buy it myself because I don't collect Marvel very much. But this one I definitely said if I did collect Marvel, I would go out and grab. I thought they did a great job on representing what this was. There's many different types of Thors throughout the, multiverse. And the fact that this one was represented in pop form, not only in its jar, but just in general, the piece itself is extremely different from a lot of other stuff that we have seen Marvel related. This one stands out. It's got a very unique look, and I think that makes it a great pop. I think you would know exactly what this is if you saw it on the shelf. You would know what it was from, and that is what I think always dictates really good pops. It's the level of detail. You don't need to sit there and go, what is this? You can automatically tell what this pop is from, and that's why it sits at the number 9 spot with the Frog of Thunder here. At number 8 is actually a piece I do have in my collection, and I actually talked about this piece yesterday, and that is the Hokage 2-pack of Hashirama and Tobirama. These are great together. I personally am very happy to have this in my collection. I thought this was one of the best Naruto pieces we had seen all year. As a big time anime fan, there are definitely going to be some anime pieces on my list, and this is one of those. I think it rightfully deserves this spot at number 8. I think it's a 2-pack. It's one of the better ones I have, and I've got nothing wrong to say about it. To have the first and second Hokage here, to have one being in its Sage mode and the other one basically being in an attack pose, they did a great job on that. And if you look at actually Hashirama, it seems like he's more of a metallic based variant, and that Tobirama isn't. So I don't know if that's due to the Sage mode and that's a little extra detail that they wanted to include there, or if that's just the way that the paint job is. But in general, it also shows off either he's wearing armor or it's just a cool little effect, and I really, really dug that. And that's why the 2-pack of Hashirama and Tobirama, the first and second Hokage, sits in our number 8 position on this list. At number 7 is definitely going to be the biggest pop on our list, and that is the Starro Brave and the Bold Justice League of America comic book cover. It features the villain Starro, the Green Lantern, the Martian Manhunter, the Flash, Wonder Woman, and Aquaman. This has 6 total pops in it, with a more of a deluxe piece that they're fighting. This one not only represents the comic well, but in general, the pop is phenomenal. They went through so much effort here, from showing off some energy from Wonder Woman. You can see the Flash's trail when he's running, and they did a great job of representing this comic cover as a whole, as I've talked about. I think this is an amazing piece. If I collected DC, this would be one that I would definitely have in my collection. And this is definitely my favorite DC piece of the year. I think that nothing else really has stood a candle to this, and I think that they did a great job with this. And I hope that if they're going to do more comic book covers, they are like this going forward, because this is the kind of stuff that collectors look for when they're this detailed, they're this well done, and it's something that you really, really want to have. And that fits that description perfectly, which is why this sits at number 7 on our list of top 10 2022 pops. Number 6 is a little bit of an interesting piece, as this one hasn't been physically released yet, but was announced this year, and you had the ability to acquire it this year. And that is the Vlad Plasmius from the Nickelodeon NFT line. They had a lot of great pops in this line, but I think Vlad definitely stood the most out for me in terms of the character's detail, the white line down his head, the fact that they've got the two blackened, like, kind of horns there for his hair. You've got the energy, the little bit of a goatee tuft on his face, the red eyes. They did a really great job in representing the character, and they've never had this character before. So if you're a big time Danny Phantom fan, this one was a must grab. This was before I started collecting NFTs. This was actually the set right before I started, and if I had the ability, I probably would have bought some of these because these were sick, and I would have loved to have this pop. This one's very well represented. It's a limited piece count, which even adds more to like the awesomeness of it, because they started doing more limited piece counts with these NFT series, and that is why Vlad Plasmia sits at number 6 on our list. Now, figuring out the order of the top 5 was very tough, but I think I have it pretty well sorted out now after some time and some effort and some thinking. And I think that what we'll have going forward is probably my top 5 in the best order possible. I love all of these pieces. I think that these are definitely the standouts this year, but we had to order them. So going forward, we're going to go ahead and do that. And sitting at that number 5 spot, and I think will surprise a lot of people, we have the LA Comic-Con Naruto as Ninetales Deluxe Pop. When this one dropped, I knew immediately I was going to go out and grab it, which I did do. This is amazing. This is definitely probably the best Naruto pop of the year. I don't foresee anything else releasing anytime soon that's going to top it. Madara was very close. My guy Glow in the Dark was very close, but this is definitely my standout of this year. And I tried to not have too many of the same franchise on this list to give a, you know, kind of a multi-layered list. I didn't want this just to be an anime list. I wanted this to be a top 10 pop list, and as such, that's why I think I have Naruto here at that number 5 spot, because it is an amazing piece. But would I say it's, you know, higher than that? I don't believe so. At number 4 on my list, and this will surprise some people because this has been a lot of people's like top pop, and that is the Luffy with Thousand Sunny Deluxe Pop Ride from One Piece. I could have picked the Going Merry, but when looking at these two side by side, I had to go with the Thousand Sunny. It's a lot more colorful. It's got more detail to it, and that's because that's how the ship is designed in the show. But for me, if I had to choose one of these two, this would have been the one I would have gone with. I think they did an amazing job with this. I think that this is very representative of not only the character but the show, and, you know, a main source in that show, and I think that they've done a great job on this. I've got no complaints with this as an anime pop, and this actually is my top anime pop for the year, and I think that they did a phenomenal job. There's something I can say that's wrong with this piece. It's beautiful. It's not only a great pop, but it's a great collector's piece, and for me, that's why Luffy with Thousand Sunny sits at that number 4 position. And at number 3 on my list, and I think this will surprise some people because I haven't seen a lot of people talk about this one, but that is the Hot Rod Legendary from the first series of Transformers NFTs. My gamer tag is Rodimus Prime. This is my favorite Transformer of all the Transformers. When it comes down to it, I was a fan growing up with not only the show, but the movie. And this was the one that just stood out to me. This was the character that I loved, that I fashioned my gamer tag after, and that's why when this released in the NFT series, I went for it, and I actually did pull this redeemable. They have not shipped these out yet, but when they do, I will be very excited because that one will be one that I am very pleased to have in my collection. I love the color scheme, the look of this. They've never released this character before, and that's why it sits at the number 3 spot, because it comes in a beautiful package, and the pop looks insanely cool. At number 2 on my list this year, and this one was tough. This one was very tough to choose between these two, but I thought about it, and, you know, it came down to one simple decision. And at number 2, we have the Freddy Funko as Optimus Prime. This is my number 1 rated Transformers figure, and this is my 2nd rated pop of 2022. When this was shown off at the basically the Fun Days event, and that you could only get in person, I was so jealous. I thought this was definitely one of the coolest pops I had ever seen. I think that they did a great job of this, and it also had a metallic variant. They had a regular variant that was limited to 1,500 pieces, and an even rare metallic variant that was 500. And the only way you could get this was either be at that Fun Days event or buy it off of the secondary market retail. And the 1,500 piece one is going for about 250, and the 500 piece one is going closer to 1,000. I would love to have this in my collection, but I cannot afford it currently. But this one, in terms of detail, likability for me, color scheme, the whole 9, is why this sits at number 2. And I think that Optimus Prime, comprised by Freddy Funko, is the number 2 figure of this year, according to my opinion. And my number 1 figure for this year, that was released this year, definitely shouldn't be a surprise to a lot of people. I've loved this figure since I've added it to my collection. This is my rarest, most expensive figure in my collection currently that I have, and that is the 3,000 piece Freddy Funko as Danny Phantom. When I saw this is the one I wanted to pull out of the collection the most out of the box of fun, and when I did, I was jumping for joy. This is one of the coolest detailed pieces they've ever had in terms of a box of fun. They did the mold amazing, the look of the Freddy. They changed the color of the crown, the actual detail of the character where it's a full-on ghost form. They've got the energy coming out of the side of his hand. This is a pop that is beautiful. They very rarely release stuff like this, and when they do, they usually nail it out of the park, especially when it's a limited piece count, and I did that with this Freddy Funko. This is one I'm happy to have in my collection. This one I will not be getting rid of anytime soon, and it's definitely my number 1 pop. I looked at all of these from top to bottom, and this one I kept coming back to that number 1 spot, and just having it in my collection, every time I look at it, I smile, and that's why this came at number 1, just a hair over that Optimus Prime, and it was definitely very sick to pull. But yeah, guys, that was my top 10 Funko Pops of 2022. Some of them I had in my collection, some of them I didn't, but I definitely wanted to represent a lot of different fan bases here. I didn't want to just get into that anime wheelhouse, and I definitely wanted to choose the top 10 from my perspective. What did you guys think? Did you guys agree? Did you guys disagree with the list? What's your top 10? Let me know down in the comments below. But as always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you sticking through the entirety of the video. Can you do me a small favor before you go? If you could please like this video and subscribe to my channel, it helps me out tremendously. And as always, I will see you guys later.